That's crazy, man. My ass is fat as hell. Holy shit. I have the fattest ass I've ever seen. Good grief.
Hey, little boy with a mouth so big you can swipe a credit card through his gap tooth, paying for some snack food. Yeah, I stole your tweet but had the decency to at you. Always running from something like I'm in the back rooms. All my friends on each other's asses like tattoos. We tear each other down like a bucket full of crabs do. Everyone I know, little dick, it's a statue. Always running from something like I'm in the back rooms. It's red on my chest like a Zangoose. Everyone wanna fuck a mom like Chris Chan do. Most of what I do, I don't really think or plan through. I got trash taste like YouTubers in Japan do. Fine clothes and Goodwill, I like them buying brand new. Made a couple friends of the folks that I lampoon. I don't moisturize skin looking like a sand dune. Cooling in my gamer chair, hunching like a sand shrew. Beat the pussy red like Dexter. Staying hydrated, pissing lasers like the Death Star. A versatile guy, plenty in my repertoire. Crypto wallet crashing like a damn test car. Reading everything people say like the feds are. I'm into weird shit, don't put F in my address bar. Shitty at my job but still got it done like Get Smart. It's because of nepotism, life gave me a head start. Break the bed when we fucking like we playing Bed Wars. Beat my dick like I'm known to beat a dead horse. Wipe the sticky shit off like a cleanser. Never open up under pressure like a chest door. Nicotine fiend, I'm smoking out the neck port. Primary care provider telling me to rest more. Balls touching when we fucking, that's Connect 4. Bushy down there like the forest mood of Endor. Bitch, if you a cancer, I'm gon' beat your ass like Technoblade. I ain't risking birthing when I'm getting a vasectomy. Rip the homie Hyojin, she ain't dead, but she's dead to me. Every guy I wanna fuck hates me like I'm just a mix. Only gun I carry has an orange tip like Sunny D. In middle school, I was pretty much everyone's underling. Played Minecraft and every other kid made fun of me. I'm pretty sure that traumatized me at least to some degree. Little boy with a mouth so big you could swipe a credit card through his gap tooth, paying for some snack food. Yeah, I stole your tweet but had the decency to at you. Always running from something like I'm in the back rooms. All my friends on each other's asses like tattoos. We tear each other down like a bucket full of crabs do. Everyone I know, little dick, it's a statue. Always running from something like I'm in the back rooms.
Yeah, my computer got lights inside of it. That's crazy. Sometimes I just stare at a wall and imagine that I'm in a PS1 game.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another SFCLive. This is episode 20, and we got little voice creak there. We got little topics to cover tonight. Very lengthy, especially this mob games topic. But for the most part, they're pretty good, fun, interesting topics. So at least I find them interesting. So yeah. Anyways, let's just hop into it, shall we? So, a lot of you guys don't know this, or, I mean, if you're not in the NFT community, you probably don't know this, but there's this NFT marketplace called OpenSea. If you guys don't know, one of our topics tonight is actually Storyfire, and Storyfire sold for $15,000 as an NFT on OpenSea. They got hacked, actually. Over $200 million worth of NFTs have been stolen from OpenSea via an email phishing hack. So you can see right here, community update. Hi there. You can now migrate your Ethereum listings to new smart contract today. Gas free. That's basically how Ethereum's made, I believe. I don't know. My whole concept of NFTs is so like, just little. You have until 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, February 25th, to migrate your listings. After that time, any listings you haven't migrated will expire. All existing offers will also expire at this time. If you don't migrate your listings by February 25th, you will still be able to relist your expired listings after that period without incurring any additional fees, including gas fees. For more on why we're upgrading to a contract and how to migrate your listings, visit our help center. And OpenSea made a tweet thread today. This is actually very recently today, 11:05 p.m. February 20th, so that was, pretty much yesterday, but a couple of hours ago. Our team has been working around the clock to investigate the specific details of this phishing attack, but we haven't yet determined the exact source. We wanted to share a couple of EOD updates. 1. We've narrowed down the list of impacted individuals to 17, rather than the previously mentioned 32. Our original count included anyone who had interacted with the attacker, rather than those who were victims of the phishing attack. 2. The attack does not appear to be active at this time. There has been no activity on the malicious contract in 15 hours. We'll keep you updated as we continue to investigate. If you have specific information that you think could be helpful to us, please DM. And have they made any updates today? Our team, this was 2 hours ago. We'll keep you updated. Yeah, we already read that. Okay, so yeah, they haven't made any updates yet. But yeah, OpenSea got it. I do not want to get into cryptocurrency, dude. If cryptocurrency got introduced like a couple of months ago or so, and I just like heard about it then, maybe I could get into it just to because other people are still learning about it, so there would be stuff for me to learn. But I feel like it's way too late to get into cryptocurrency for me. We are way too far into cryptocurrency. There's way too much there for me to get in. But a lot of companies are starting to do a lot of crypto stuff. Mob Games, we're covering that tonight. My opinion on this. That's one of the cryptocurrencies. Gaming companies. YouTube wants to get into cryptocurrency. Twitter, I think it's getting into cryptocurrency. And I know for a fact their CEO, Jack Dorsey, is very much into crypto. That's actually his bio. Is it just Jay? I think it's just Jay. Dang, I can't find Jack Dorsey's Twitter. Oh well. But yeah, no, for a fact the CEO is very into crypto. But yeah, I'm just glad I'm not in crypto, dude. There's too much to get into. I would probably easily lose $100. Anyways, our next topic. So a lot of you guys know I've covered this site before. This is Storyfire. This is a YouTube alternative. I like it better than Odyssey, the way where it's at right now, I don't like it better, but it had more potential than Odyssey and BitChute, and we're gonna get a little more into that. Aki's gonna expand on that in one of his streams that we watched. I think it's very important to listen to. Now, the site's just very confusing, which again we'll get into that. Keemstar actually used to be an investor in the Storyfire, and you can see right here, this is a tweet that Boblex made. Dang, Storyfire is on fire. 117,000 views on my video yesterday. If any other creators want on Storyfire, let me know. I'll get you set up. Also, look how many subs I have. And then, and then this is him. That same a couple of days later, or so a month before, I took a position to help Storyfire recruit new creators. You currently have to be approved to upload on Storyfire, and this is still true to this day. If you are a creator that wants on, let me know. This is him now, 23 minutes ago, on January 24th, 2022, at Storyfire, Dumpster Fire. So I think it's very safe to assume that Keem is no longer a Storyfire investor. But yeah, so anyways, like, the upload system got kind of better. I mean, like, now, I looked at it today before doing the stream. Now you could choose a file. Yeah, I don't have any files, but basically you choose a file, you do the thing. You won't publish. What has to happen is the community has to decide to publish your video. And if the vote's good, I guess, they'll publish it for you, and you can publish your video. I mean, that's better than what it used to be. It used to be, like, submit to a Google Forms. Unironically, the company they're going up against, Google, submit to a Google Forms on why your video should be submitted. Submit the video to YouTube, and we'll review it and see if you should be on our platform or not. Another thing, Storyfire started out as a written app initially, like kind of Wattpad. It wasn't even a YouTube competitor. You couldn't read on here. You could not read written stuff on Storyfire on the website, on like this web version. On the app you could, but not on the web version. You could write. When I got on here in 2020, I looked today, when I got on here in 2020, you could write stories, but if you had written stories, you couldn't read them on the actual browser that you wrote them in, but you could write them. That was just dumb. The social thing was also kind of cool. You could pretty much have your own Twitter, although it's not working now. Like, see, the post button is just like not. Oh, okay, I guess it did work there. Wait a minute. But yeah, they had their own social feed. They had their own like Twitter alternative. I'll delete this. They had their own Twitter alternative in here. They had their own Wattpad alternative. They had their own YouTube alternative. It was like all three of your platforms went into one, right? Sorry, words are hard for me. Anyways, all three of your platforms, right? Because nowadays it's like you gotta be like subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to my Patreon or Subscribestar. Do all this junk. It was nice to have everything rolled into one. And I like that. And the best part was, it was apolitical. There were no politics on here. Or, I mean, if there are, they weren't really, like, leaning towards or curating the homepage to it like BitChute and Odyssey are. But anyways, Augie kind of elaborates on some of this other stuff, too. So Nick DeOrio kind of got into a fight with Storyfire. I mean, he didn't really get into a fight, just McJuggernuggets unfollowed him, is what happened. Keep in mind, Nick and Augie, a long time ago, you can find an RFC after hours, actually. You just search on Augie's channel. You search Storyfire, so I have caps on. Right here, you can...
Tag me.
They were promoting the heck out of Storyfire on here. See, the rise of Storyfire was the first thing in here. And Keemstar, I think, was even in this call and was like, yeah, get on Storyfire. Of course, I had that one in there. Get on Storyfire and all this stuff. So they were hyping the heck out of Storyfire, and now, I didn't see how long ago that video was. How long ago was that? It was in 2020, so 2 years ago. It said July 2020. Look at the replay of my stream. 2 years later, they don't like Storyfire anymore. So keep that in mind as we're watching this video. But, let's just roll it.
Oh.
So yeah, let's just roll this.
So I guess McJuggernuggets unfollowed Nick DeOrio, so now Nick's going mask off about McJuggernuggets. McJuggernuggets finally unfollowed me. I guess he got tired of the occasional tweets pointing out how he's a borderline scam artist. He's currently 29 years old and treating his actual business ventures like they are part of the Psycho series. Dude's a total joke, and it's so funny to keep tabs on his dead website. Tomorrow it's gonna shut down. The next day, it's saved by an investor, which is him secretly. Then he sells it as an NFT.
Yep.
Then the next day, he is appointed the CEO of his own website. And finally, he quits and gets evicted by his parents.
This is all true information, by the way.
He joked at the time about how schizo this video was, where he talks about how him and his girlfriend breaking up. But I have absolutely no idea to this day if it's real. So then Nick points out, this is my favorite tweet from the Storyfire scam. The one where they poll the community on whether their creators should be paid out.
Yeah.
What's the feature? What's the first feature you want to be added to Storyfire once we're under new management? Unlocking videos for everybody instead of only giving it to certain people? The ability to cash out your fucking Blaze?
So, yeah, let me
Marketing
elaborate on this. Because I just covered a couple of Storyfire stuff in the past. Blaze is the currency on Storyfire, right? So here's my Blaze wallet right here. I have 54 Blaze. This is the currency, and for the longest time, they've been teasing like, oh, you guys are going to be able to cash out your Blaze and make actual real-life money out of this currency, right? And here's the conversion rate. So 30,000 Blaze equals 50 bucks. 11,000 Blaze equals 20 bucks. 5,000 equals 10 bucks. 2,000 equals 4. 500 equals $1. Pretty much. So for the longest time, this has always been the currency, by the way. I believe even since before it was a YouTube alternative, it's always been the currency. And they've been like, hey, we're working on this feature right now. To prove how much we're working on this feature, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. So they've been teasing this feature for a long time, for 2 years now, maybe 3, maybe even longer. And it's still not here. And they're still like, oh, it's coming, guys, it's coming. Just stick around. Stay tuned, it's coming.
push version 2. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Or live streaming. They're asking people if they should unlock the ability to actually make fucking money.
Exactly.
By the way,
it's not
not
enough.
only can you not cash out your Blaze on
Sorry,
Storyfire, but the ad revenue you make.
I want to get into
I don't
this.
even
If you're not a good alternative, if you can't make money on this alternative, right? The whole point of YouTube is like you can make money, but there's censorship. You have to be censored to make that money. Some parts of your video have to be censored to make that money. If you want to speak about whatever you want and also make money, that's the point of these YouTube alternatives. If you can't do that and make money on an alternative, then why not just go to YouTube? It's no point in making content for a site that doesn't even really, that's not paying you, and all you're getting is free speech, but you're not getting paid. If you're not getting paid on this site, you might as well publish the same videos to your YouTube channel, because you're not going to get paid anyways.
think you can cash that out. You can see how much money you're making, but you can't actually receive it.
Yeah.
And still to this day, this was tweeted almost a year ago, you still can't collect money from the website. It's a fucking scam, guys.
I'm
sorry, but it is.
I'm going to dominate the platform over the next few. I'm going to do what Optimus
Been in
did
development for at least 2
and make it
years.
into a video.
Our in-app currency Blaze allows creators to monetize their content outside of ad revenue. You set a price tag on your content and
So yeah,
users
see,
will
2
pay
years.
to watch. Also can donate/give creators Blaze. We've seen transaction increases since COVID. Can cash out for USD soon. Tweeted April 24, 2020. 22 months ago. Tweeted November 24, 2021. Our 2 biggest priorities for Storyfire near term. 1, video access for everybody. 2, Blaze cash out. To illustrate how serious I am about these goals as CEO, we'll be approving 29 new video creators. Video winners will be unlocked and announced on Friday. November 2nd, 2021. Which feature would you like to see first? Easier to unlock video or Blaze cash out? So they ran 2 fucking polls, dangling it like fucking candy to their user base. Do you think we should let you get paid? Do you think so? It's basically tickling the fucking balls of their fucking consumer base for no fucking reason. Then he tweets on January 15th, you know Blaze cash out is getting serious when DeckChair rolls up to the meeting.
That's the guy that brought it as
a
a
joke to him.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
is.
even- It's not
So DeckChair's the guy that brought it for 15,000 as an NFT. It's literally a joke.
even taken seriously. In fact, do you guys remember when he made a video stepping down as CEO, quote unquote, because
He
was
stepped
too hard
down,
for him,
then-
or he was
yeah.
getting too tired from it.
So what happened is the platform was gonna get shut down. Hours before it shut down, an anonymous user on OpenSea brought it for $15,000 going by DeckChair, and the platform was magically saved. Then Jesse is reappointed the CEO of the company. He steps down because it's too hard to compete against Google. How surprising. It's too hard to compete against one of the biggest companies in the world. Nice.
Like, he had no idea being the CEO of a company that's running up against Google would be difficult? What are you talking about? He treats it like a fucking joke, like it's just bait for his fucking content, basically, right? And then here we go. Hello, this is Puko Hall, one of Storyfire's community representatives. Just wanted to say we're under new management now. Dexter is the owner and CEO of the platform. Jesse and Brian aren't a part of the team anymore. Puko Hall, I remember you. You're being lied to. LMFAO, build your other social media.
Yeah.
You say I'm being lied to. Is that so? My DMs are open if you would like to talk through DMs, or we can continue talking through the comments. See, as sad as it is, there's people that actually, like, believe in this project, right? There's people that actually, like, are invested into this. Whether they're literally invested into the company or they're investing their time and effort into this. And you can say it's sad, right? But, like, Jesus Christ,
understandable.
does that not spur,
but
like,
still,
some amount of responsibility?
There's a point.
To maybe get off
there's a point like this.
And start taking it a little bit more seriously?
Yeah, there's a point where it gets to, like, this type of level of stuff. So you're like, okay, this platform isn't really taking itself seriously. I'm gonna dip.
I don't know. It's some food for thought. It's sad, too, because Storyfire definitely could have been... If there was one platform that had any chance...
Right? That's what I was saying earlier.
Taking over YouTube, it was Storyfire. It had the most momentum, and the biggest thing that Storyfire had over all of the other competitors was it wasn't bogged down by bullshit politics. It was apolitical. The only way something will ever take over YouTube and Twitch is it being apolitical. Odyssey's never gonna work. Sorry, but it's true.
Yeah.
BitChute's never gonna work. Sorry, but it's true. Storyfire is apolitical. But they fucked it up because it's run by
their
people
owner
who aren't serious.
Yeah.
That's really
it's all a
it comes
joke.
down to, basically. Storyfire fell off after the end of hashtag Boblox pay up.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know the context to that, it's actually hilarious. Boblox is basically like, if Storyfire doesn't shut down by 1 a.m., I'll link my nudes and my cock on this platform. And they're like, we're saved. And it's like, shoot. And it was like, pay up, Boblox. Pay up and show us your nudes, man. It was so AIDS, but hilarious at the same time.
Anyway, folks, that's my little 3-hour soapbox. I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting. I gotta go now. Okay.
Alright, it goes out of that. Our next topic. Mob Games. If you guys don't know, these are the developers of the hit game, indie game, Poppy's Playtime. I played through it. I bought it. It was $5 on Steam. Good game. Great horror. Apparently they got exposed, I guess. So, like, they tweeted today, what's the time? Chapter 2 official trailer drops 22nd of this month. And a bunch of people in the replies are just like, oh, well, we're not going to forget that you sold out for NFTs. To be honest, I don't care if a gaming company sold out for NFTs. They can do what they want, as long as it doesn't affect the core gameplay or the game towards, like, to continue. Buy this NFT from our shop. So I don't really care. And plus, it happened, like, a while back, so it's like, what's the point of bringing it up now? But apparently there's some other dirty stuff they've done, and I kind of want to learn about it and just, like, give my first take on it. I want to get my first reaction on this and give my first take. So this video is by Poison Dawn, The Downfall of Enchanted Mob and Zam Animation. Okay, disclaimer, although the majority of this analysis is based upon factual events, a few parts of the timeline are speculative. You get the point, this speculation. Please keep this in mind, as some minor details may not be fully accurate. Okay.
Enchanted Mob and Zamination. Those are names the Minecraft animation community is well accustomed to. Over
I am
the
not.
6 years,
I don't watch
these two
Minecraft animation.
studios have become some of the biggest and most influential of their genre. And while once they were both projects of passion, the curse of time and fame, as well as a series of controversies beginning in...
I didn't even think, that's crazy to think, like, the gaming company started off as a...
husks of their former selves.
as
How did
a
all this happen?
Minecraft animation.
Fall from grace. That is what I'll be documenting in this video. I think a lot of you watching this video must be familiar with Zamination and Enchanted Mob, or as I like to call them for short, Zam and Emob. Both are popular Minecraft animation channels specializing in Minecraft music videos, and by music videos, I mean music videos about Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, really. Anyway, Zam is run by twin brothers Zachary and Micah Preciado, whereas Emob is a bit different. The face of Emob is Seth Belanger, the creator and main animator during the early years of the channel. However, the actual manager of Emob happens to be his brother, Zach Belanger. Not to be confused with the other Zach from Zamination, of course. I think I'll just refer to them as Zach B and Zach P from now on. Now, since Zam and Emob are both huge animation studios, it goes without saying that they have animation teams consisting of many more than just the people in charge. Throughout 2019 and 2020, the Zam brothers, aka the Preciados, also frequently animated for Emob in addition to running their own channel. Thing is, it seems that as of recently, Zach B, the guy who runs Emob, made a creative decision with approval of everyone involved to incorporate Zam into Emob as a subsidiary studio. In other words, Zam lost its independence. Both channels still exist, obviously, but for all intents and purposes, they've pretty much become one and the same, which might have been the final nail in the coffin of the passion and integrity these studios once had. I firmly believe that Zam and Emob have been going downhill since at least 2020, and probably a fair bit earlier. At this point, they've hit the Mariana Trench. I mean,
is anyone really still watching Minecraft animations? I guess it's kind of a popular brand or genre of YouTube.
That's gone overboard more than
Takes up the entire Minecraft live section.
We have to go back all the way to the beginning, just over 6 years ago. The year is 2015. The first age of YouTube's domination by Minecraft has been going on for quite a few years now, and it's ever so slowly approaching its end. We've already seen animation channels like Element Animation and Slamacow pop up and make their mark in this time period. Some of these animators would serve as inspirations for Zam and Emob, both of which would spread up this year. The Zamination channel was created on March 30, 2015, by the Preciado brothers. On the same day, their first animation, The Enemy, was uploaded. Nowadays, it's not that great, of course, but I think for their first video, it served its purpose, and at the time, it was at least decent. It's also important to note that the creation of the channel this year was not the beginning of Zach P and Micah's animation careers. According to Zam's 1 million subscriber Q&A, they were introduced to animation by their sister and originally specialized in making short animations and posting them to platforms like Instagram. However, once they shifted towards making longer animations, they had to switch to YouTube and establish a channel due to the length limits on Instagram videos. This is why most of Zam's older videos are short and spontaneous, as it would take a while for them to transition towards creating longer, more professional animations. This means they would be irrelevant for a little while, but stay tuned because I'll get back to them in due time. Now, you're probably wondering where Emob was at this time. Seth Belanger created the Enchanted Mob channel on February 26, 2014. You'll notice this is significantly earlier than when Zam was created, but it doesn't really matter since Emob was completely under the radar until 2015. Similar to Zam, the earlier videos on Emob were just Seth's random animations, until he uploaded his first music video, Survive the Night, which is animated to the FNAF song of the same name. It's pretty obvious that Survive the Night is what first blew up the Emob channel, as it has a whopping 61 million views compared to the earlier videos, almost all of which have views in the hundreds of thousands. You may think that's still a lot, and it is, but it can be assumed that most of the views on these earlier videos were people watching years later after the channel became well known. Seth knew he had hit the popularity diamonds with Survive the Night, and began working toward creating more music videos. He struck again with Just Gold, and then again with Die in a Fire. Both of these animations, while not nearly rivaling Survive the Night, still amassed millions upon millions of views. As time went on, Seth continued working on more...
Again, that's crazy to think about. Like, a whole entire gaming company started off as a Minecraft animation company.
Seth himself was in charge, and Zach B hadn't yet taken control of things. These early animations were certainly flawed, and they obviously don't look good compared to what the channel produces nowadays, but even so, they had a far greater advantage: passion. Meanwhile, the Zam brothers were taking much more sweet time to figure out what they wanted to do. As of 2016, they were still mostly doing short animations, collab entries, YouTuber funny moments, just anything that could suffice for them at the time. It wouldn't be until 2018 when they would create their first music video. Well, that's not quite true. They did animate a music video called Yandere in the title for Minecraft YouTuber ThankSea in early 2016.
I've heard of that.
Not only was it on his channel and not
Haven't
the Zam
seen
channel,
it, but I've
it didn't
heard of
really
it.
make enough views to warrant any more for a while. Also, ThankSea originally made the song as a criticism of the lack of integrity and clickbait in the Minecraft community, so I find it pretty ironic that Zam animated it for him, since at this point they've basically become the same thing he was criticizing in the first place.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to
Hmm.
destroy.
Anyway, what I'm saying here is that in the early years of Zam and Emob, both were growing and amassing popularity, mostly separate of each other. As someone who's watched lots of older videos on both channels, I personally think they were both great at this point in time. There was clearly a lot of heart and passion put into these animations, and it felt like both Seth and the Zam brothers were focused primarily on having a good time and making their fans happy. But as you all surely know, this sort of mindset isn't always permanent, especially when you let fame and popularity get to your head. Before I get on to the next section, there's one more thing I need to mention. On June 2, 2016, another Minecraft animator arrived on the stage, Eckercoaster. Also known by his real name, Ethan, Eckercoaster would go on to be inspired by both Zam and Emob and create similar videos of his own. At first, his presence in the community wasn't very important, but soon enough, that would change. I want you to remember Ethan, because he's the center point of the most integral part of this analysis by far. Anyhow, moving on. We're now getting around to 2017 and 2018, an era of which I consider to be the golden age of Emob and Zam. Seth's animations were mostly solid in 2016, but I think they started to get really good in 2017. His music videos would consistently rake in millions of views, serving as a consistent source of popularity for the channel.
I remember Newscape
As
Pro.
mentioned
Newscape Pro is like an
Zam
old
would stick with
Fortnite
standard animations up until 2018,
channel.
when
I
they
talked
would
to them
finally
once,
upload
the
their
head of
first
them.
music video, the Foxy song. Afterward, they would go on to produce
Nice
much
dudes.
more.
They also
I
live in
believe it was
Texas.
most likely
which I
late
appreciate.
2017 when Seth and the
Oh,
Zam brothers
respect.
became well
So I live in
acquainted with
Texas.
each other. November of that year saw the founding of Animation Sins, a Cinema Sins-inspired joint project between Zam and Emob. Originally, Animation Sins was founded by these professional animators with the intent of offering constructive criticism towards others. Seems like a good thing on the surface, but it didn't take long for the channel to devolve into the same unfair, sarcastic ragging nonsense that Cinema Sins is notorious for these days. I honestly never really liked Animation Sins, and I've stood by the opinion for years that they've done considerably more harm than good to the people they've criticized. Keep all of this in mind, because believe me, it's going to be important later. 2017 and 2018 also saw the gradual rise of Zach B., Seth's brother. While Seth was an animator at heart, Zach was much more of a businessman, and as such, he became the manager of Emob, while Seth continued to take care of the animation front. This in and of itself was perfectly fine, but Zach's influence would only continue to grow as time went on, and as many people would discover later, he was not exactly the type of person deserving of that much power. At the time, though, things were still pretty good. I actually had an insane Zam and Emob phase back in late 2019, so trust me when I say I've watched...
See, like I said, I had a
golden
Newscape Pro
Seth's
phase,
music
dude.
videos were still clearly filled
Fortnite.
with
The
passion.
story was amazing,
The same
dude. Are you
held true
kidding?
for those produced by
I'll not
fans.
apologize for
There
having
were
that
some I liked more
phase.
than others, but I pretty much liked all of
The
them.
story of the Newscape Pro Road was
Nonetheless,
amazing.
there were problems with this content model, especially for Emob. Most of Seth's music videos were based around...
This whole
whatever
timeline, it
franchise
all
was
just syncs
popular
up
at the
together.
time. As such, his
Insane.
animations were primarily based around FNAF, with a couple about Bendy and Undertale mixed in just to vary it up a little. There's obviously nothing wrong with that on the surface level, but it does contribute to a problem I like to call the consistent content trap. Basically, the consistent content trap is when you, as a YouTuber, spend an extended period of time repeatedly pumping out the same type of video to such a degree that you've essentially made that type of video your main identity, and your primary source of views. This means that if you were to try to make something new and unique, it would
wouldn't
most
work.
likely underperform because your audience is
Yeah.
only following you for that type of video.
The majority.
Not for your channel as a whole. I've had to
Yeah.
deal with that situation at least 3 or 4 times myself in the
Dream
first
SMP
time
with
my
me.
channel has existed, so trust me, I would know. Consider the following example. Saddest, who
Dude,
I'm
my
sure
channel's
you've heard
on the
about
brink
at
of
least
death.
once, has made a huge
It's not
name for
already.
herself because of her
Oh yeah,
Dream
Dream SMP
animatics,
girl. Yeah, see what I just
which
said?
have raked in millions of views. Of course, she has an incredible talent and deserves all the popularity and praise she gets, regardless of how I feel about Dream, which is like a whole other can of worms. But the issue is that if she were to diverge
Her animation's
from
all
those
good.
animatics and try something else, if she even so much as made an animatic not about the Dream SMP, I guarantee you it would be critically underviewed when compared to her animatics that are about
Yeah.
the Dream SMP. If you still don't understand
Oh,
what the
Profile is
consistent
literally a
content
Dream
trap is
SMP
supposed to
mask.
imply, just look at Songs of War, which you have to be somewhat familiar with if you follow me as a creator. Songs of War performed horribly compared to most animations produced by BPS, and while there were many other factors at play discussed already by director David R.B., it wouldn't be so outrageous to assume that the underperformance of the series was in part due to its divergence from BPS's normal content. So, the reason I explained all this is because the consistent content trap, to some degree, applied to Seth Belanger as well. Sprinkled in the middle of his video game-centric music videos was a lone animation, not linked to FNAF, Bendy, Undertale, or anything besides plain old Minecraft. This music video was Fly Again. In my opinion, Fly Again is genuinely flipping fantastic, and by far my favorite music video by Emob. But the issue is, because it wasn't linked to any game franchise Emob's audience had become used to seeing, it noticeably underperformed compared to the other music videos. The one time Seth tried to do something truly special and unique, it didn't pay off, even though it really should have. As such, I believe he may have noticed this, and reasoned that his best course of action was to stick with the norm he'd established for the channel, and that is exactly what he did. Even with these constraints, however, the channel was still going strong and made plenty of music videos worth watching. To this day, I still think the Disconnected series was at least fairly good. The same held true for Zam, who at this point were still new to making music videos anyway. In 2019, however, things began to change. 2019 was when Seth really started to lose control of things. I can only assume Zach B was at the absolute height of his power by this point, since by now, Emob was a full-fledged studio hiring other animators to work on music videos. Originally, these animators must have been under Seth's guidance, but that wouldn't last forever. It was also this year when Emob and Zam became really intertwined, with both Zach P and Micah becoming animators for Emob in addition to running Zam. Later in 2019, Zam also began hiring animators of their own, with Just Monica being the last video done entirely by Zach and Micah. Don't interpret any of this as me saying hiring animators is bad. If you run a massive studio, of course you should hire people to help you. I would do the exact same thing if I was in their position. But in this specific case, it was a step towards the eventual corporatization of the studio, and to make matters worse, there have been allegations presented by former Emob animators that management was awful to them, even threatening to fire their employees if they so much as demanded better pay or better treatment. Granted, I don't know if this has been absolutely proven, but yikes. There's not really that much more to say about this segment of the video. Despite the gradual
or not, you know what I mean. Like, hopefully it's not true.
Going strong, and if you were to disregard the existence of animation sins, they were most definitely a positive impact on the community at this point. However, 2019 was their last year in the clear. 2020 was when everything would really begin falling apart. It was the middle of 2020. The COVID pandemic and its consequences had by now ravaged the world, but Zam and Emob were still pumping out videos just as per usual. However, not everyone was so fortunate. You'll remember Ecker Coaster, otherwise known as Ethan, the independent animator I mentioned way earlier. His current situation was, to say the least, by no means ideal. Over the previous few years, Ethan had made plenty of animations of his own, taking heavy inspiration from Zam and Emob as he saw them both as role models. It's important to understand that he did not copy anyone. Being inspired by another creator does not mean you're stealing their content. There's nothing wrong with using ideas from others to make something of your own. I firmly believe Ethan did nothing wrong, but at that time, many people did not share that opinion. Ethan was not seen in a positive light by the communities of Zam and Emob, with many considering him a lesser copycat of both channels. He was also viewed as toxic by some, which is weird because as far as I know, there was nothing toxic he ever did. To add insult to injury, his animations were harshly criticized by animation sins to the point where their own writers would eventually speak out against it. It's undeniable that Ethan's animations weren't perfect and had flaws, but that didn't justify the borderline insults and the everything wrong with videos. Unfortunately, all the hate from the community had a horrendous impact on Ethan's mental health. I'm obviously not going to elaborate on this specific point because it's personal and I have no right to, but the basic information you need to know is that Ethan was internally struggling and losing faith in his animations because people were constantly crapping on him every time he made one, with no effort from Zam or Emob taken to stop them. It got to the point where Ethan would take breaks for months on end, and it seemed like he was going to fizzle out completely, until July 17, 2020. On this date, the unexpected happened. Although some were aware of the harassment Ethan had been receiving, it was previously thought that this was only the fault of toxic members of the community. But that day, the truth was revealed. Ethan uploaded a video with an attached document explaining everything, and in doing so, he revealed that the situation had been far worse than anyone could have imagined. Ethan's video contained a compilation of some of the most vile comments he'd received from toxic community members. Not only were these people insulting him and his animations, they were making false accusations that he was the toxic one, and an attention seeker, despite the fact that neither of these claims had any merit. There was one Discord message talking about Ethan that said, and I quote, "The community is better off with him dead." Look, I couldn't make this up if I tried. This was beyond disgusting, and that wasn't even the end of it.
I mean, in fairness, it's the internet, so it's probably like an empty thing, but still.
The document attached to Ethan's video went into detail on the role Zam and Emob themselves played in this situation. Not only did they turn a blind eye to the harassment Ethan was receiving, there were at least 3 people who were either actively contributing to the problem or refusing to even acknowledge it when specifically asked to by Ethan. These people were Zach P, one of the Zam brothers, Seth, the original creator of Emob, and worst of all, Zach B, the current manager of Emob. As for Micah, the other Zam brother, there is still to this day no indication that he had anything to do with this, so assuming he was in the dark, he seems to be the only innocent one of the 4. And get this, when I say Zach B was the worst in this situation, I really mean that. The way he treated Ethan as established in this document was legitimately psychotic. In just one instance, he went as far as to manipulate, blackmail, and threaten Ethan, all because he rightfully pointed out that his outro...
Wait, let's see this. Okay, so Echo Coaster. Surely you've seen my animations before. Which one? You told me you watch them all. Most of them, yeah. Then you've heard that outro before. I don't watch outros. I click off as soon as the video is over. You must have copied us. I've used it since my second animation, which is unlisted. Wait, how could I have copied you? I swear you are playing dumb right now. Stop being mean to Enchanted Mob. Question mark. I told him not to do that Sins video. First you copy our outro song, now this? Which of your videos do you want them to send next? Maybe none of them, please? We were thinking Fun Time Dance Floor. Maybe then all of the baby's story stuff asking you a question is not targeting.
I've been stolen by Emob in one of their music videos. Any reasonable human being would simply stop using that outro, or at least have the decency to credit Ethan for it. But as you can probably
at the very
see by
least,
this point, Zach B was not and is not reasonable, nor is he a decent person by any means.
Yeah.
Seth was nowhere near as bad as his brother in this situation, but that's saying basically nothing. When Ethan contacted him asking for action to be taken against the toxicity in the Emob community, Seth displayed a tremendous amount of apathy and completely dismissed the problem. To this day, I still find it hard to believe Seth was unaware of just how bad the situation was, so I don't think he had an excuse to completely ignore Ethan's plea for help. He displayed a similar level of apathy on the topic of the criticisms on Ethan's videos by Animation Sins, which we know were unfair and overly harsh because at least 2 of the writers who sympathized with Ethan admitted that fact to him. As for Zach P, aka Zach from Zam, Ethan never actually mentioned him in the document, nor did he show any particular instance of Zach P treating him badly. However, we still know he was involved somewhat because he admitted it himself after the situation came to light, even though he completely backpedaled on it later. Again, there is still nothing to suggest Micah was a direct contributor to the problem, and the same can be said for the rest of both studios' members, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few more bad apples in the bunch who never really got called out. To summarize what was established in Ethan's document, the harassment directed at him was not only disgusting, it was also a consistent string of behavior from the community over the past couple of years that was both ignored and contributed to by both Zam and Emob. This was all bad enough to outsiders looking in, but if you were to think from the perspective of Ethan himself, it would be like being verbally abused and having your problems dismissed by the people you look up to the most. The good news was that Ethan had overcome his mental struggles, and was determined to come back to YouTube stronger than ever before, but this also meant the tables had turned. With the cat out of the bag, Zam and Emob were about to face a massive storm. It wasn't long before the comment section of Zam's latest video, their million subscriber Q&A, was flooded by people demanding the studio to take accountability for what had happened to Ethan. This happened to Emob as well, but Zam was targeted much more, likely because those who read Ethan's document confused the 2 Zachs and wrongly assumed Zach B's actions were those of Zach P. I was there when the situation was first blowing up, and initially, I defended Zach P, because I could distinguish the 2, and at that point, there was nothing to suggest he was part of the problem. However, once the Zam brothers noticed what was happening, Zach P was quick to address the situation in a pinned comment on the Q&A, admitting he had a part to play in the mistreatment of Ethan. At the time, I thought this apology should have gone in an actual video, or channel announcement, so more people would have seen it, but it still seemed adequate enough, and I respected Zach P for owning up to his actions and promising never to repeat them. Until he deleted his apology. I was notified of this recently by a friend of mine on Twitter, and I went to check to see if it was true, and yeah, sure enough, the comment's gone. The apology is completely gone, and I know I can't really say for sure, but I can assume that the reason why he deleted his apology was because he never actually cared in the first place, and was only apologizing because he was called out. But I guess in his defense, at least he apologized in the first place, unlike Seth or the other Zach. It's been well over a year since this happened, and I've still not heard a single indication that either of the Belongers have done anything to make up for their actions. If I'm wrong, or if I missed something, tell me, but I genuinely doubt it. And in Zach B's case, even if he did apologize, I'm sorry wouldn't really cut it after the way he treated Ethan. I've heard people say this doesn't matter because all of it happened in the past, because, you know, apparently 2019 is a long time ago according to someone's logic. And just for the record, someone who did something crappy a while ago should not be absolved of what they did just because they did it a while ago. They should be absolved if they've genuinely grown as a person and made up for it, which, at the very least, Zach B certainly hasn't. I guarantee you all that the internet would be a much better place if we all accepted a simple truth. Time does not heal wounds. Accountability heals wounds.
True.
Anyhow, you might be wondering what happened in the aftermath of this drama. Things ended well for Ethan, as a weight had been lifted off.
YouTubers need to take more account.
Back to making content he enjoyed.
What was that?
So far,
Wasn't there one YouTuber that like?
since, and that makes me
Oops, sorry.
happy.
Wasn't like one YouTuber that was like taking a yeah. It was. I forgot the YouTuber. It was some drama that we covered a while ago. It was like taking accountability. Yeah, that's what all YouTubers need to do, man. Take more accountability.
In the aftermath of this drama. Things ended well for Ethan, as a weight had been lifted off his chest, and he was now back to making content he enjoyed. So far, it seems he's been doing great since, and that makes me happy too. As for Zam and Emob, they mostly just brushed off the whole situation and kept pumping out music videos as per usual. This is just a minor detail, but around this point in time, Zam switched their animation software from Blender to Maya, the one Emob always used, presumably so they could become more uniform along the way to the merger of the two studios. Meanwhile, Animation Sins was completely abandoned. Not a single video was made after Ethan had come forth with his document, and their most recent video was uploaded 3 days prior, so it can be reasonably assumed that Emob and Zam stopped producing content on Animation Sins for fear of sparking more controversy now that Ethan had exposed them for being unfair to his animations. So far as I know, this abandonment was never officially addressed by anyone involved with Animation Sins. It was simply left as a relic of history, and if you ask me, thank God, it was about time. But if you think this was the end of things, oh boy, you could not be more wrong. Somehow, Zam and Emob ended up screwing over their reputation even more.
Child
Don't
sexualization.
Come Crying was a collab between Zam and Emob uploaded in very late 2020 that stands to this day as the last FNAF music video from either studio.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Music videos like Alex
Five Nights at Freddy's is like probably arguably one of the most like communities that probably has like again arguably like the most porn out there.
Killed my last bit of faith in Emob because, well, Don't Come Crying is really bad. I don't mean to suggest it's animation.
Like, I remember quite played of Five Nights at Freddy's kind of like a porn game.
Fluid, engaging, and stylistic.
It wasn't like full on nude and everything, but it was like kind of like it was like sexualization of FNAF characters.
You see, Don't Come Crying, originally written and sung by Tryhard Ninja, is a song about Circus Baby. There's nothing wrong with that, and clearly none of the blame can be put on Tryhard for how Zam and Emob decided to adapt his song, but the thing is, she's portrayed as excessively sassy in the animation, emphasis on the air quotes there. For this music video, they also decided to update her model to include noticeable breasts. This would make sense if the same treatment was given to other female robots in the animation.
To get the kids to click on it.
This inconsistency
it's literally get the kids to click on it.
Breasts purely for the sake of sexualization, especially
yeah, to get the kids to click on it. It doesn't make it right.
There's literally a butt
yes.
shot and a scene of her bathing, despite the fact that her mental age is probably around like 10 at most, as can be assumed by how Elizabeth Afton is portrayed in FNAF. Circus Baby is Elizabeth, as Elizabeth.
I'm not familiar with FNAF, so this part I'm not really.
Circus Baby is a child character should not be up.
I've read like one
Therefore,
book,
I find the way she was
but other than that,
crying questionable at best and completely disgusting at worst. As a matter of fact, many people watching the animation felt the same when it came out, and Emob was criticized harshly due to being the ones in charge of the project. Of course, dignified hero and moral champion Zach B came to the defense of his studio, trying to prove that no one had done anything wrong. And as such, he delivered the most flawless and irrefutable argument ever made. I'm joking, of course. What? You what? How many drugs do you think Zach B was on when he wrote this? She was 14 and sister located.
Wait, go back.
An irrefutable argument ever made. I'm joking, of course. What?
Okay, so Enchanted Mob. I, Zach Bell, would like to formally apologize for the comments I wrote last night. They were in poor taste, and I did not mean for them to come across that way. Our goals were not to sexualize a character like that. Okay, sure. And my comments did not help reinforce that idea. I am sorry. That is the most blatant apology ever. I mean, I guess it's the character limit on Twitter, because Twitter has a terrible character limit. Okay, Mr. Pedo, man. Okay, now we're getting into, like, real stuff here. Circus Baby Elizabeth Afton was 14 during the events of Scott Cawthon's FNAF SL. Since the game was released in 2016, 4 years ago, that means that today Circus Baby is 18 years old. Real? Jeez, dude. This guy was like, yeah, we were specific. Yeah, no. I'm not gonna call him a pedo, but... but to say their goal was to not sexualize her... You sure about that, pal? Because that was December 4th, 2020. This tweet where they apologized was December 5th, 2020. So, sure it wasn't, pal.
What? You what? How many drugs do you think
Sure.
Zach B was on when he wrote this? She was 14 in sister location, and it's been 4 years.
Yeah, okay, so based off of what I know now, yeah, I mean, even if FNAF is probably like one of the most pornographic franchises out there, Yeah, no, this Circus Baby is apparently 14. Yeah, this shouldn't have happened. They never should have made that music video.
You need a minimum
Disavow.
of 4 brain cells to understand why this statement is idiotic. What possessed this man to think that the release date
Speaking of statements that were idiotic, the one I just made was
I feel like Matt Patton
saying that wasn't like
location does not take place in 2016. In no way does the timeline in the lore correlate with the timeline of game releases. Fictional characters don't age with the passage of real-life time, genius. She's still 14. Hell, she's probably even younger than that, since she doesn't even have a confirmed age, and Zach B is just pulling this out of his sleeve. His defenses are pretty much on the same level as, well, my version of the character is a different age, and hold just as little merit. So yeah, this excuse was absolute trash, and people didn't buy it. It only added fuel to the fire, and basically proved that Emob had intentionally sexualized Circus Baby on the
yeah,
that was perfectly justified.
Literally.
Once Zach B realized
Oh shit! What did I do?
shot himself
Okay,
in the foot,
good.
he tried to
Hey,
double back
hang on. To literally be like, our goals are not to sexualize the character, and then to be like, actually, the book happened in 2016. It's 4 years later. She would be 18. So you're wrong. Come on, dude. You can't say our goals were not to sexualize her. Yes, they were. If you're that specific about it, yes, they were.
Apology and reshape the narrative to make it look like the studio had just made an honest mistake. I'm really not sure why he didn't just say that in the first place, but he clearly isn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So go figure. At the end of the day, Emob had, at least to an extent, sexualized an underage character in their Minecraft animated music video, which they must have known would have a viewer base consisting mostly of children. I really shouldn't have to explain why this is a problem. Zam is less at fault, but they were complicit and can still be blamed because they were involved in the project as well. Thankfully, a lot of people seem to share my opinion on the matter and condemned Emob, but ultimately, beyond Zach B's soulless Twitter apology, the studio did nothing to right their wrongs, just like the last time it had gotten into a controversy, and that was it. The year is 2021, 7 years since the creation of Emob, and 6 since the creation of Zam. Both channels had a good run, but after all the controversies of the previous year, Zach B's rise to power, and the gradual corporatization of the studios, this is when we finally see what were once animation channels filled with passion and heart degrade into the husks they are today. Ever since the release of Don't Come Crying, Zam began to fill their second channel to the brim with, in my opinion, some of the laziest content possible. Said channel had once been home to behind-the-scenes...
What are those thumbnails?
I actually found interesting.
What? I gotta look at some of these titles, too. Angry Alex, but everything is wrong. Just Angry Alex original versus Something Isn't Right. Angry Alex, but something isn't right. Angry Alex, but it's only the sound effects. How did we make Angry Alex? Circus Baby versus Freddy song. Jesus. These thumbnails need to at least look better.
Billion copies of the same music video with slight variations cloned for the sake of reaching as much attention from the algorithm as possible. I mean, just take a look. At this point, it wouldn't even be hyperbole to say they might upload a video like, insert animation here, but we change the color of 1 pixel in 1 frame. Emob's second channel has more of that nonsense too, albeit a lot less. But hey, at least these are just their second channels. I'm sure they have their priorities straight on their main. Well, crap.
Wait. Oh, wait, no, don't tell me they had Squid Game live stream.
Too, albeit a lot less. But hey, at least these are just their second channels. I'm sure they have their priorities straight on their main.
Squid Game versus Friday Night Funkin'. Among Us animation. Bandy and the Ink Machine's in there. Baldi's in there. Poppy Playtime official game trailer. Are they releasing like trailers, like mainstream trailers for the media to look at, and IGN and everyone and YouTubers on their same channel they're releasing these dumb animations on? Okay, dude.
Well, crap. Basically, all the context you need to know is that around the time Emob incorporated Zam, both studios began to stray away from music videos this year and began making Minecraft FNAF animated series like Fazbear and Friends and Circus Baby's World. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Fazbear and Friends and, well, it is serviceable entertainment for kids, but it's not all that special. It's impossible for me to know this for sure, but it just feels like Seth and the Zam brothers don't really care about putting passion into their work anymore. They'll just pump out whatever keeps them relevant or gets them views, and that's basically it. It explains why the studios haven't bothered to do anything to make up for their mistakes, because they have legitimately zero integrity left to spare. According to Omega63, a friend of mine, Seth only ever does lighting these days as far as his contributions to Emob productions go, so yeah, it's safe to say he's had a fall from grace. I feel like I need to clarify something. In no way am I saying Zam and Emob's animations look bad. The animators working there are unbelievably talented and obviously dedicated to their jobs. But here's the thing, unlike with, say, Black Plasma Studios, the animators don't decide what to animate. They're handed instructions by the higher-ups and expected to follow through with them. Sure, they do it well, but as harsh as it may sound, I just don't care? The fact that Zam and Emob's animations are visually impressive is cool and all, but that's not why I used to watch them. The objective quality has no bearing on my enjoyment. I watch Minecraft animations because, well, they're fun. Just compare the current state of Zam and Emob to the current state of BPS. You can criticize BPS for using insufficient facial rigs, or for not bending over backward to prevent so much as a single instance of clipping or foot sliding, but in my opinion, none of that matters. When I watch BPS animations, I feel things. I feel the passion and heart the animator put in. I feel how much they cared about what they were making. And it's not just BPS. I feel that with Element animations, with Ecker Coaster, with Saddest, and with so many others. I used to feel the same way when watching animations by Zam and Emob, but not anymore. I feel nothing watching their latest content. If you enjoy current Emob and Zam, that's fine. Don't let me dictate what you can and can't like. But I really hope no one tries to sit me down and explain to me that stuff like this is the epitome of creativity, because at that point, you might as well go around praising 5-minute crafts. I'm not trying to crap on anyone who works at these studios, except Zach B. He can stub his toe every day of the week for all I care, but this is just how it is. Zam and Emob used to be something special.
Even like
but that
my
don't
worst
last
enemies,
time
I wouldn't
passed,
wish that
and now
upon,
it's
dude.
they're just shells of their
Jeez.
former selves. And I feel like it's going to stay that way for years to come, if they even survive that long to begin with.
Conclusion.
And there you have it, everyone. The downfall of Enchanted Mob and Zamanation.
Dang, yes, this company, the people behind this company at least. I'll still play Poppy's Playtime, but I won't like play it on stream or anything. I don't know. It'd be kind of a scummy thing to like buy the game, play it, and then refund it since it's less than 2 hours. So I'm not gonna do that. But I don't know. I don't know what to really think anymore. I'll probably still play this game, but the developers themselves, yeah, no. Yep, it was by Mob Games. It's the only game. Wow. There you have it. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching the stream. If you guys enjoyed, please smash like, subscribe if you did, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.